any internet. I should not face any internet issues. So I came home.
Okay. I stayed on in school. I said, let me do this from school and get home once and for all.
I was called by our TMC people. Over
Okay.
there, we had to submit some documents. So my home is in between. I went to TMC, I submitted the documents, I had to sign few things. While coming, I thought I better go home because if I go to school, I'll be stuck in between on the way.
I understand. So blended learning. That's the topic for the
yeah, I work from home actually. Yes.
Okay, nice.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Mm.
Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Intap Campus Care presents Panel Discussion. Panel Discussion is a platform where educators and leaders come on board and express their viewpoints related to education and society. Our topic for the day is evaluating and assessing student learning in online and blended environments. And to express their viewpoints on the same, we have with us Miss Vandana Saxena ma'am, principal of the Tribune School, Chandigarh. A very warm welcome, Vandana ma'am.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And then we have Mrs. Nikita Kothari ma'am, principal of Arunodaya Public School, Thane. Welcome, ma'am.
Namaste. Namaste. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, evaluating and assessing student learning in online and blended environments, Nikita, ma'am. So, over to you to let's start off with the session, ma'am. So, what are some of the effective methods that you think for what are some of the methods that you think are effective when it comes to assessing student learning in online and blended environments, ma'am?
Yeah, it is a very good platform. I must tell you, with NEP 2020, the government has told that we can do two courses at a time. So, how a person is going to be available for two courses at a time? It's a very good method. Online modes are beautiful way to keep yourself updated. There are many other apps available, modules are available, softwares are available, and many more universities are coming up with new blended learning techniques wherein different methods are available. During the COVID time, it was very difficult. We were learning. We started to adapt to new things, but now that had become the new normal. After that, as we always say that always curiosity is the master of invention, isn't it? So we were very curious how we'll adapt, and we got adapted very well. So in this way, many more tools are available now. How we did, like CBSE has come out with Diksha app. So on Diksha app, teachers training is also available on online mode. During the COVID time, teachers training happened on online mode. And now 50 hours as per NEP 2020 is mandatory for a teacher to undergo teachers training. Similarly, with the students as well, 6th, 7th, 8th, as per new NEP guidelines, skill education. The students can very well do skill education on an online mode. So there are various tools available. We just have to go ahead on online and start surfing and trying these things out.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much, Nikita, ma'am. Vandana, ma'am, would you like to add something to ma'am?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Nikita, for those inputs. What I want to say over here is that assessing and evaluation are two different things. In my experience as a learner on an online platform and as a teacher on an online platform, I find assessment a little easier than evaluation. So, for assessing the student during the class, we must make sure that any method that we use has to be collaborative, activity based, and innovation has to be a part of it. Of course, the developmental stage of the child is important, but engaging children across this platform, either it is online, which can be in synchronous or an asynchronous mode, or even in a blended environment where physical proximity is a part of the learning environment, we have to be very, very innovative and collaboration must be used. So, what happens in that case is once children are engaged in their own learning, we can use different kind of methods. Some of them I have listed over here, of course, like viewing video demonstrations, reading and writing assignments, research projects, students presenting. In fact, I want to share one very, very effective method that I have understood from here is from a course that I was doing online. So the professor across the screen used to create content from the experiences of the children right on the spot.
Yes, ma'am.
I thought that was such an effective way of learning because every child was waiting to see their input on the screen. And he actually created PowerPoint presentation, and at the end of the session, he shared it with everybody. So he was creating his own content with the experiences of student, true way of collaborating and working together. So these are some of the add-ons, and of course, apps are available, and there are numerous platforms which can be used. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vandana ma'am. So, ma'am, when it comes to online assessment methods, it becomes a little difficult to, measure the learning outcome. So, how do we make sure that the online assessments, the measures, they are so accurate when it comes to student learning, ma'am?
We have to be smart in setting the learning outcome. The most important thing is the learning outcome first. The first step is for the learning outcome to be defined with a lot of clarity and simplicity. So, the more effort and more planning and more brainstorming goes into setting the learning outcome rather than copying it from somewhere, the better and easier it is to measure with accuracy whether the learning outcome has been achieved. That is point number one. The second thing is uh, training ourselves, the teachers, and also students to set the rubrics and parameters so that children are involved in their own learning process. So peer to peer learning can happen. Teachers set the expectations clearly in front of the children, saying that this is what is expected from you. That is another thing. And teacher to teacher collaboration, where you are planning and working out how actually the learning outcome can be defined and what are the parameters and what are the rubrics and set to a rating scale. So, this kind of collaboration, brainstorming is make measuring learning outcomes effective in any environment, more so in online and blended environment because the physical proximity is very little. Yeah. So communication becomes more effective, pre-planning and post-planning and planning implemented during the lesson.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Nikita ma'am, would you like to add something to
Yes,
Vandana ma'am?
yes, exactly. Whatever Mandana ma'am said is exactly true. Collaborative, definitely learning outcome. See, I would like to add one more thing in this is whenever we look at a classroom, the classroom is having different types of learner. Some learner would understand audio visual, some learners would learning outcomes are better while writing, reading, LSRW skills. So the learning outcomes are one thing, and how they reach the students is a different thing. During an online class or hybrid or blended learning, if you see the learning outcomes matter a lot. For a suppose if in a class we are teaching water cycle, the child is the child is the child able to understand water cycle? What is air? If you see the learning how the child has to understand what is air, correct? The learning how air is composition of gases. So in a way that has to be uh, synchronized, and typically the child should understand that much. And in both ways, both ways, may it be online or may it be blended. The teacher has to have the minutest knowledge about the topic and how creative she's going to be. As Vandana ma'am correctly said, assessing and evaluating after every lesson, assessing and evaluation plays a vital role. And when it comes to each and every learner is a big difference. So this is what I wanted to add. Back to you.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much. Nikita, ma'am, what role when it comes to online and blended learning environments? So we are speaking here of formative assessment. So what is the role that these formative assessments play in online and blended learning environments, ma'am?
Formative assessment plays a very vital role because after every interval, earlier we had CCE pattern. Okay, CCE pattern was also good in my opinion. Was continuous comprehensive evaluation without the learner being acknowledged that it is he or she has been continuously evaluated. But evaluation as the term said, every time it is evaluation. But now with formative assessment, I feel that in a year, either 4 times, 2 times we are having formative, 2 times we are having summative. So it is a very good way, and one should have so that after every 2 lessons we have formative assessment, and it's a wonderful way what CBSE is doing. And I believe that yes, it's a perfect way to do. And actually not formative only. There are various modes now with inclusive education also, as NEP says that we have to have inclusive education. So it's only formative assessment we cannot rely on. There will be different modes of evaluation. There will be different modes of evaluation and assessment.
Thank you,
Actually.
ma'am. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nikita, ma'am. Vandana, ma'am, would you like to add something to Nikita, ma'am? What, according
Yes,
to you, does formative assessment? How do they what role do they play in online and blended environments, ma'am?
thank you very much, Nikita ma'am, for your inputs. What I want to say that formative assessment is diagnostic and remedial in nature.
Correct.
In case, putting it in simple terms, formative assessment happens in the classroom every minute. And what happens when we are in physical proximity of each other? We are able to reach the body language expression of the children, even the eye to eye contact of the child, and we automatically change our way of teaching. And there is a lot that happens in the warmth of that physical proximity.
Yes.
However, I feel that in the blended environment or the online environment, that minute to minute feedback that you need to improve the current state of learning is even more important, because now this physical proximity and reading the body language of the child is not available. So, hence, formative assessment is so important in such an alternate method of learning. And we have to be innovative. We can devise so many new ways of doing it. And you can generate data to look at it. You can quizzing option. There are many more. So the role of a formative assessment to keep the learner alive and active and tweak the teaching learning process simultaneously is even more so in blended and formative learning environments. And I had done one online course with the Harvard Graduate School of Education, where we were put in smaller groups and there was a mentor. So there was a mentor who would send us emails. Of course, there was group peer-to-peer learning. There was discussion in school because we were a team. We had enrolled for this course. But at the end of that day, we awaited that email. That was our formative assessment. And what we wrote back to the mentor was his formative assessment of how the set module could be tailored and communicated to us for the next sessions. And hence I realized the importance of formative assessment because it kept me engaged in the process.
Wonderful, Vandana ma'am. Actually, during the COVID times, we had a very different experience altogether because some children were already into a cocoon kind of a stage, and then how do we assess them? And our teachers were very new to it. And now, if you see, we see Diksha, for example, every teacher has to undergo a training, and the Diksha was actually very innovative and very creative. Now again, offline training sessions are happening. During that time, I also did a course from IIM, Leadership Management. It was a wonderful course, and the mentor definitely, helped me to. We had some set of questions, and we were supposed to answer that MCQs, but the MCQs were so different. And if you see higher order thinking, different variety of questions were used. Similarly, with our learners, if you look at that particular age group, every age group, if you add on some good questions, variety of questions, and fill in the blanks, variety of questions, definitely it can help out formative assessment.
Thank you.
Absolutely,
Thank you
ma'am.
for those inputs.
Thank you so much, Vandana ma'am. Thank you so much, Nikita ma'am. Now, before we move on to the next question, I would like the audience and Nikita ma'am and Vandana ma'am, you both to view a video. Thank you
Nice,
so much.
very beautiful, fantastic.
Thank you so much, Vandana ma'am and Nikita ma'am, for your patience. So, Vandana ma'am, moving forward, when it comes to online methods, so the chances of cheating, that also increases. So, what according to you are the strategies that we can use to prevent cheating in online assessments, ma'am?
That's a tough one. It's a tough question, but yes, one must understand that to prevent cheating, of course, you have softwares which can be bought and implemented on the online devices. The plagiarism software that you have, and there's a new one. Let me read out from here. It's called the proctoring tool. I heard about it because one or two of our colleagues, they were training to be cyber security master trainers. So these are two tools, which proctoring tool, which actually is able to detect alterations in the voice quality, or even, and they block the access to websites from the online tools where the examination is being taken, and so many more security measures that are implemented. Similarly, the plagiarism tool is also there to screen the written content that is presented, that how much has been copied from the internet or from each other, or how much is original. But the most important thing that I want to point out here is But in the assessment for the online or the blended environment, we must have a large portion of it should be based on self-reflective practices, which means the student voices should be kept alive in creating the rubrics and parameters. If we give a chance to the children to set the rubrics and parameters themselves, and they feel they themselves are evaluating themselves or their peer group, then cheating can be reduced. Because by setting in these self reflective practices, we are actually reaching out to the mindsets of people. So it depends on whether we want to work on prevention with reflective practices or cure, which is by installing those two softwares that I have spoken about. So either way, which end of the spectrum we work at, though that's how we can use these methods, or a combination of both, which could help at best to reduce the cheating practices during such assessments.
Thank
Over
you.
to you.
Thank you, Vandana ma'am. Nikita ma'am, could you suggest us some
Yes,
strategies to prevent
very
cheating?
yeah, very well said, Vandana ma'am. Yeah, this tool is available for plagiarism and procto exam, even on mobile phone monitoring, we can have that. One thing I would like to add, we can change a set of questions, like if it is on HOT's higher order thinking. Next point I would like to say is nowadays, you find children very smart, the parents very smart, the learner very smart, one step ahead of you. So we can also verify true identities of test takers or learners. If you can identify them, there are some cameras. If you move, if there is any slightest movement, the camera captures it and notifies it to the examiner. So there are these tools available. And what Vandana ma'am said, I totally agree how reflective the questions are. Because we need to understand the learner's mindset and why are we evaluating on that? Why are we assessing the learner? And for whom are we taking this test available, online test available? Just some time back, you showed a beautiful video where all the subjects totally merged: history, geography, science, art, prism. Beautiful video. And how we did this is the content available, correct? This content available at different ages for a learner. This content has to reach the learner. And after reaching the learner, we need to understand what are the learning outcomes of. Okay. And how well it has reached the learner. And that is the reason we are talking about online evaluations or offline blended learning evaluation assessing patterns. And as per NEP, how are we going to do that? Because NEP 2020 is a robust policy, I see. And these are various, and new things are also going to come up, correct? So, with new things, innovative methods, new things are going to come up, and we are going to add on to our teaching learning pattern, our education.
Just one more thing I want to add over here is a very good way of reducing cheating here can be through the use of adaptive learning practices. When the child is actually taking the test depending upon his or her own level of understanding. So the questions change as per the learner. So automatically there's no cheating because it's a self-paced module.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct.
Self-paced modules because each one of us is unique. So then that will completely reduce the chances of cheating.
Correct. And I feel more and more of online also will be in the picture because NIOS, National School of Open Schooling. So that is also coming into the picture. If you see, I was just going through a research lately when I was reading this article that many actor students, OTT medium, there are so many students who are actually taking up acting or athletes or sports training. So these children will definitely require NIOS open schooling. And for that, what can be done? So online learning now it is going to be a new normal. And if online schooling is going to be a new normal, or a blended way or a hybrid way of learning is going to be a new normal, then there are few things we need to get ourselves updated, pull up our socks and get ready for the new normal thing. Bottom
Yeah.
line is it's simply a transition of face-to-face class to an fully optimized online learning environment in the space for a few weeks, online, offline, whatever you say. So it can be accurate, it cannot be accurate. How well the person teaching, the teacher teaching, puts it in the into the mind of a child that this is assessment for yourself. It's not for me. We are assessing you how well I have taught you. That is more important. How well have you understood? So
Yeah.
if one person understands that, I think that is done. Correct? I mean,
Yeah.
it should reach the learner. Correct?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also depends a lot on what is the kind of how are we going to present that assessment to the learner? Is
That's
the assessment value for the child in the learning process? What is happening with these two platforms, which I agree with you, Nikita ma'am, it is going to be the new normal, and especially with the NEP coming in and the point system that they're talking about, the credit system for admissions to colleges.
exactly.
Those are going to be the experiences which are going to lead the child in a gather the points to lead the child into a college admission. Automatically, the focus will move from scoring grades to the process of learning or gaining a skill from that learning process. So there is a very big and a very very exciting shift happening in this space today, and online and blended learning environments are going to contribute greatly to it and give us the flexibility which is needed to move in the space of education today. It's a whole
Need
revolution.
Correct, need of that. And
Yeah.
one more point I would like to add, Vandana ma'am, here. See, many a times I see students observation that a few students feel that unwanted pressure and stress, which is building up when we say that, yeah, this is the term and examination which is going to come up formative. Be ready for your formative assessment. I don't know how parents put on the pressure, that pressure, and how due to that pressure, children behave or why they are forced to do cheating. So when you experience this kind of behavior, that you whatever you know, you give it. It is a continuous way. It is a way of evaluation. And what are the learning outcomes? So the students should be well connected. They should be supported. They should be also encouraged to give their best, to put their best foot forward rather than move on for cheating. No, there are a lot of tools available, but why should the child move on to that tools, or why should they should be genuine? We should imbibe that ethical way, because ethical now, this word has also become very important, and in every way ethical is way it be your behavior, way it be your assessment, way it be your any part of life, any mode of life. Ethical cyber crime, if you see, it's a big topic altogether. um, I feel these things should be looked into. Back to you, ma'am.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much, Nikita ma'am. Thank you so much, Vandana ma'am, for being here today and sharing your experiences and viewpoints with us.
You're welcome. Pleasure is all ours that I made a new friend.
Thank you,
Was in the
Vandana.
dynamic city of Mumbai. Thank you very much for introducing us, and good luck to you, team in TAP. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vandana. It was nice to connect to you. Wonderful. As I said, Chandigarh is a lovely place. And whenever you come to Mumbai, you're welcome here.
Likewise, thank you.
Thank you. Take care. God bless.
Thank you, ma'am. And for all the viewers watching us out, do not forget to subscribe to our channel for more stuff like this. Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day.
Thank you. Good day to you.
Good day.